Okay, so moving ahead from here, let's see the shoulder girdle. Let's see the shoulder girdle. Now, shoulder girdle in anatomically is very, very important. Shoulder girdle. I told you shoulder girdle. I'll repeat it once again because it is very important. What a layman understands that we are moving the upper limb moving fine. But understand as a medico, this upper limb cannot move on its own. It has to need the assistance of scapula and clavicle and sternoclavicular and acromioclavicular joints. Only then we can move the shoulder girdle. So in this figure over here, we are trying to show you few different parts. This over here is the humerus. This over here is the humerus bone. Clear? Now this is the anterior view. How to understand? Because you can see the coracoid process over here. It is in front. So this is the anterior view of the which shoulder, right or left? It is the left shoulder. So anterior view of left shoulder. Clear? So this is our humerus as we just labeled it. This is our scapula and this is our clavicle. Clear? Three things. In this figure, we are trying to show you all the ligaments which are so important. So once you remove the bones and all, once you remove not the bones but the muscles and the fascia, you see these ligaments. This joint is our shoulder, or another name of shoulder joint is glenohumeral joint. Well, it is between glenoid cavity and the head of humerus. This is the shoulder or glenohumeral joint. So let's see all these ligaments. These are the capsules and the glenohumeral ligaments. Now other ligaments which you need to understand, see this is our acromion process of scapula and this is our, I just told you in the beginning, coracoid process of scapula. So coracoid process is I labeled with the blue color, acromion say we make it with green color and clavicle say we make it with yellow, just for the we labeled with marked it with yellow color. And if you are marking everything, then why to leave humerus? We marked humerus also with the red color. Clear? Now come back again. So there is a ligament between coracoid process and acromion. Very important ligament. This one between the blue and green color. Coracoacromial ligament. This is your coracoacromial ligament. Very strong ligament. There is a ligament between acromion and clavicle. Why? Because it is forming a joint. This is a joint, acromioclavicular joint. I told you in the beginning. A type of atypical synovial plane joint. So obviously you have a joint, so you will also have ligament. These are acromioclavicular ligament. Then a ligament between the coracoid process, that is the blue color, and your humerus over here, coracohumeral ligament. This is your coracohumeral ligament. Coracohumeral ligament. Fine. And now the most important one. Below you have coracoid process, above you have the clavicle. Between these two you have the conoid part and you have the trapezoid part. I have labeled them with different colors. Right over here, between the coracoid and clavicle, you have the coracoclavicular ligament. Now, this ligament has two parts. One is the conoid part and other is your trapezoid part. Other is your trapezoid part, a very important ligament. I will tell you why. So you can see all these ligaments, now understand their importance, particularly of this coracoclavicular ligament. So once you have understood this ligament, you are now seeing that all this clavicle, scapula, humerus, they are joined together. That is the core of your shoulder girdle. Now understand what is happening over here, conoid and trapezoid ligament. So what this conoid part does? See, above you have the clavicle. Now understand like this. Above you have the clavicle. Behind you the scapula. And with the scapula you have the humerus. So how is the weight being transmitted? Weight is transmitted first from humerus, because you have the whole upper limb. It has some X amount of weight, X kg of it. So this whole humerus is transmitting first its weight. Humerus is directly connected to scapula via glenoid cavity. So from the humerus, weight goes to scapula. From the scapula, weight goes to your coracoid process. From the coracoid process, weight goes to your lateral end of clavicle. And from lateral end of clavicle, weight goes to your medial end of clavicle in the sternoclavicular joint. From there, weight goes to sternum. From the sternum, weight goes to the ribs. From the ribs, weight comes back to the vertebrae. From the vertebrae, weight goes down sacroiliac joint. ilium bone, from the ilium, hip joint, lower limb, foot. This is how there is transmission of weight. Therefore, there are two things, there are two ligaments I told you, one is conoid and one is trapezoid ligament. What these two things do, conoid part of the coracoclavicular ligament, it helps in hanging of what? Hanging of scapula and humerus from the clavicle, because above you have the clavicle. So conoid part of coracoclavicular ligament helps in hanging of the scapula and humerus. What does this trapezoid does? Trapezoid part of the coracoclavicular ligament is for the transmission of force or transmission of weight. Transmission of force would be better. From the upper limb to the axial skeleton. So from the appendicular skeleton to the axial skeleton, the trapezoid parts helps in transmission of force. The conoid parts helps in hanging of them. Very, very strong ligaments. Clear? That was a nutshell about your shoulder girdle. A nutshell. Clear? Let's move forward. Okay, over here a small figure showing you again from the top. This is what you are seeing from the above. So you can see the clavicle over here, the right side. You can see the acromion, this is whole scapula. And here this bulk over here, this bulk over here is all your coracoclavicular ligament. Now look what is written in this figure. The movement. I told you this is your acromioclavicular joint. Which type of joint? Synovial, plain synovial type of joint. See, you have a synovial joint, so it will move. Undoubtedly, it will move. Synovial joint means a movable joint. The acromion may swing forward or back, but you can see the direction of arrows, forward and backward. Why? It is plain joint. But so long as the coracoclavicular ligament is intact, this is the core, coracoclavicular ligament, it cannot be driven under the clavicle. So therefore, this is your shoulder girdle anatomy. The core is your coracoclavicular ligament. That has to be intact. If that is intact, only then the acromion can move or glide front and back over the acromioclavicular joint. Arrow showing you the direction of its moving. Clear? Fine. Now let's see this figure over here, what happened in this X-ray. And applied of this, again acromioclavicular joint. So what is happening in this figure is, the applied is acromioclavicular joint subluxation. What is the mode of injury? The mode of injury is falling at the tip of the shoulder. You fall and you fall on the tip of your shoulder. The acromion forms the tip of your shoulder. If you fall at the tip of your shoulder, the acromioclavicular joint may subluxate. It may get separate. Therefore, this pathology is also known as shoulder separation. Now, that is not a dislocation, it is shoulder separation. Very important to understand. It is not dislocation, it is separation. The whole shoulder girdle is separated. You need a big amount of trauma for this to occur. Clear? So, acromioclavicular subluxation or dislocation is a shoulder separation. Now, shoulder dislocation is dislocation of head of humerus with the glenoid cavity. That is a different thing. This is shoulder separation. Now, what is there in the figure? This AC is your acromion process. This CL is your clavicle. And CP is what? CP is just below the clavicle. It is coracoid process. And the very important surface marking which I am going to tell you. Coracoid process lies just below, if this is, supposedly I make the clavicle. This is the medial end of clavicle, this is the lateral end of clavicle. If I divide the clavicle into three equal parts, the medial part, intermediate part, lateral part, then between the junction of the intermediate and the lateral part, just below this, you will find the coracoid process. It is right at the location. Surface marking again. So just between the middle and the outer third, below the clavicle at this junction, you will find the coracoid process. Clear? Now look over here. Acromioclavicular subluxation or dislocation, you can see the abnormal separation of this. You can see the abnormal separation between the acromion and clavicle. What happens over here? How will the clinical signs are? The arm will be hanging down. If you ask the patient to stand with both of his upper limbs hanging down from the side of his body, Now supposedly the right acromioclavicular joint has been dislocated or subluxated. The right upper limb will be slightly down than the left upper limb. The acromion goes down, with it the scapula goes down, with it the humerus goes down. First thing. Second thing, on the right side the clavicle will be slightly above. So the tip of the shoulder will be slightly above over the area where it is subluxated. Where there is separation in the shoulder, the clavicle will move slightly upward. So the arm will be hanging slightly downward. The tip of the shoulder will move slightly upward, and you can easily, that sign is known as piano key. That sign is known as piano key. Like a piano, you can tap over the lateral end of clavicle, it will go down and come above, because it is now free from the acromion process of scapula. It is a piano key sign. Clear? But you know, you need a lot of force.